In this video, I'll walk you through the setup library, ThinkTickle's historical playback gallery. Every signal the engine has fired before becomes a study card. You filter by outcome, click into any setup, and see the same intelligence panel you'd see live, with the next session result attached. It's how you train your eye to recognize setups before they resolve. And the detail page is honest about its fidelity. It tells you the panel is reconstructed from stored fields, not a pixel-perfect replay. Setup Library lives at the Learn/Setups route, in the More menu under the Setup Library label. Free for every account tier. Header reads ThinkTickle with the Setup Library subtitle. On the right side, a small glossary button. Click it to open the glossary side drawer that defines every domain term used anywhere on the platform. RSI2, ATR, relative volume, all the way through to the engine-specific terms like setup intelligence and engine convergence. Drawer slides in. The glossary is global, you can open it from anywhere, but the setup library surfaces it because new users hit unfamiliar vocabulary fast here. Close it by clicking the close button or pressing escape. Below the header, a teal-bordered intro card. Headline, Learn by Example. Subtitle, Every signal the engine has fired before becomes a study card here. Click a setup to see the same intelligence panel you'd see live, plus the next session outcome. Patterns are easier to recognize when you've seen them resolve. That last sentence is the whole product thesis on this page. The live scanner shows you setups in real time. The library lets you replay them after the outcome is known. Doing that 50 times trains pattern recognition that doing it 0 times can't. Below the intro is the stats strip, 5 tiles. First, sample. Total number of setups in the current filter, with the look-back window underneath, for example, 341 setups in the last 30 days. This is the denominator behind everything else on the page. Second, follow-through. The win rate of graded setups in the sample. A signal that closed positive in its post-signal window counts as a win. Below the percentage, the wins and losses count so you can see the absolute numbers. Third, average R. The mean P&L across all graded setups, expressed in R units, how many R units the average setup returned. An average R of plus 0.5 means that for every dollar risked, the average graded setup returned 50 cents. Fourth, pending. Setups too recent for outcomes to have resolved yet. These show up in the grid but don't influence the win rate or average R. They're tracked separately so the stats stay honest. Fifth tile, note. Italicized, reads, historical statistics. Not predictive. Not advice. That's the honest framing this page leads with. Past setups are study material. They don't promise future setups will behave the same way. Below the stats is the filter bar. 2 controls. On the left, 5 outcome filter buttons, all, wins, losses, flat, and pending. Click any to gate the grid. Grid filters to only the graded winners, strong wins in deep green, regular wins in lighter emerald. The stats strip recalculates instantly for the filtered view. Now only the losers, soft amber for ordinary losses, deep red for hard losses where the stop took out the trade quickly. Flat shows setups that didn't go anywhere, closed within a tiny range of entry. These are the most informative for study because they're neither dramatic wins nor obvious losses. Figuring out why they went nowhere is what trains your read. Pending shows recent setups whose outcomes haven't graded yet. Useful for catching live or near-live signals you might want to track. And all to bring everything back. Next to the outcome filters is a days dropdown. 4 options, 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, 6 months. Default is 30. The sample collapses to just the last week. The stats strip recalculates instantly, fewer setups, but more current. 90 gives you a bigger statistical sample. Win rate stabilizes at this scale. Six months gives you the deepest backward read. Useful for regime-level analysis, wins versus losses split by market trend. Now the main grid. 1 column on mobile, 2 on tablet, 3 on desktop. Up to 60 cards per page. Each card is one historical setup. Let me describe a card. Top row, the symbol in bold on the left with the date below, month, day, 2-digit year. On the right, an outcome chip. Outcome chip color is what your eye lands on first. Six outcome chip values. Win strong, deepest green, the setup made multiple R or hit its target cleanly. Win, lighter emerald, a normal positive grade. Flat, slate gray, went nowhere. Loss, amber, ordinary loss. Loss hard, deep red, stop hit fast, usually a sign the setup was broken from the start. Pending, muted zinc, ungraded. Below the chip, 3 columns, score, relvol, and percent change. The setup's quality score at fire time, the relative volume that triggered the scan, and the percent change at the moment the signal fired. If the setup graded with an exit reason, target hit, time stop, end of day, you'll see a small italicized line at the bottom of the card, exit, then the reason. Exit reasons are the most condensed read of how the setup resolved. Click any card to open the setup's detail page. The detail page loads. Header changes to show the setup library subtitle still, but now there's a back to library link on the right with a chevron left icon. Use that to return to the gallery. The browser back button also works, but the in-page link is more reliable. The detail page leads with the outcome banner, colored to match the outcome kind. Top left, an outcome label and the outcome name in big text. Top right, the symbol and the full fire timestamp, date, year, hour, minute. If the setup was held for a known number of bars before exit, that count shows too. Below the outcome label, a small grid of trade levels, entry, exit, target, and stop. Whatever the engine stored at fire time. The exit price tells you where the trade actually closed, the target and stop tell you what the original setup structure was. Below the grid, if an exit reason exists, the line why it closed appears with the reason. Now the most important framing element on this page, and one that's unique to the setup library. Below the outcome banner, an amber-bordered notice with a partial replay badge. The badge text reads, reconstructed from stored setup fields, not the live snapshot. That's an explicit declaration that what you're about to see is not a pixel-perfect replay of what a user saw when the signal fired. The signal log doesn't preserve the full snapshot, the catalyst engine state, the AI trend reads, and the exact engine model version at fire time aren't fully captured. Click what this means to expand the caveat list. The list spells out exactly which fields are reconstructed and which are stored verbatim. Read it once and you'll know how much weight to give the reconstructed panel below. High weight for the price and structure read, lower weight for any catalyst confluence claims, because those weren't fully snapshot at fire time. Collapse it back when you're done reading. The honest framing here is the team's way of preventing users from anchoring on the wrong fidelity claim. Trust over feature surface, the page tells you what it isn't, not just what it is. Below the partial replay notice is the actual setup intelligence panel, same panel you'd see live on the scanner, the dashboard, the chart page, and options flow. Confidence band, engine convergence pills, evidence rows, contradictions, analogs, watch conditions. The difference is that the outcome is already known and shown at the top of the page, so the loop the live panel can't close. What does this red actually mean for the next session, is closed here. Read the panel as if it were live. Predict what should have happened next. Then look back at the outcome banner. The gap between your prediction and the result is where your eye training happens. One edge case. Some old archived setups don't have enough fields stored to reconstruct the thesis at all. Instead of an intelligence panel, you'll see a muted message, "Intelligence panel unavailable for this archived setup. The engine didn't store enough fields at fire time to fully reconstruct the thesis." Outcome above is the source of truth. In that case, the outcome banner is the whole study card, the historical price action is the rest of your learning. Return to the gallery. The Back to Library link in the header pulls you straight back to the grid with your filters intact, the outcome filter, the day's dropdown, the scroll position. So you can flip through 10 setups in a row without losing your place. The grid shows up to 60 setups per page. When the backend has more available, a Load More button appears at the bottom showing how many you've seen so far out of the total, for example, 60 of 218. "60 more setups append below." The accumulator grows, the filter and days dropdown stays sticky. Keep clicking Load More to pull in everything available in the window. If the backend doesn't respond within 10 seconds, you'll see a taking longer than expected message with a retry button. The page is patient but not indefinite, 10 seconds is the budget. A retry button lets you refire the same fetch without reloading the page. If a filter combination has 0 matches, for example, 7 days of pending or 7 days of flat, you'll see an empty card saying no setups matching this filter in the last n days. Widen the window or relax the outcome filter. For patterns for getting value from the setup library. First, the morning study. Spend 10 minutes a day flipping through 10 random setups from yesterday's 30-day wins filter. Read the setup intelligence panel, predict the outcome, then check. Over a month you train your eye to spot the high conviction setups before they resolve. Second, the loss audit. Click Losses, set the window to 90 days, and read the worst 10. The exit reason text tells you the stop hit pattern, and the contradictions section in the detail view often shows the warning sign that was already there. Study losers, and you stop repeating their thesis. Third, the flat investigation. Flat setups are the most informative because they failed without drama. Open a few. Look at the engine convergence row in the detail. Often the engines were mixed at fire time, some pills green, others gray. Mixed engines often means the setup never had a clear edge. Fourth, the regime study. Switch the window to 6 months. Read the stats strip's win rate. Click wins and skim. Most wins probably cluster in a specific regime, trending or volatile. Once you spot the cluster, you know which regime is your bread and butter, and which to slow down in. One more tip, the glossary button in the header. Open it before you start. The first time you encounter terms like engine convergence or contradiction in a detail view, you'll want the glossary already open in a side drawer so you can switch over without losing your place. 5 minutes in the glossary saves an hour of guessing. Final honest framing. The page is built around 2 layers of honesty. The footer-style fifth stat tile reminds you that historical statistics are not predictive. The partial replay badge on every detail page reminds you the panel is reconstructed, not snapshot. Both are deliberate. The setup library is a flashcard system, not a backtest, not a guarantee. To turn library observations into measured edge, run a replay on the strategy. The library teaches, replay measures. On mobile, the grid collapses to a single column. The stats strip wraps to 2x2+1. The glossary button stays in the header. Tap any card to open the detail view, which itself is mobile optimized. The outcome banner renders full width at the top, the partial replay notice is just as visible as on desktop, and the setup intelligence panel below renders as a stacked column. That's the setup library. Every historical signal is a study card, filtered by outcome, sliced by window, and one click away from the same intelligence panel the live engine uses, with a partial replay badge that tells you exactly what fidelity to expect. Train your eye, audit your losses, find your regime, build the muscle memory the live scanner can't give you on its own. Study setups daily. Read the outcomes, not just the stats. Pay attention to the flat cards, they teach more than the wins. Trust the partial replay framing, it's there because the team would rather be honest than impressive. And keep the glossary open until the vocabulary is second nature. Study the past. Read the present.